So I want to tell you a story about this video that I came across. This is from Sky News Australia, and apparently they are not big fans of the Davos groups, the C-19 global lockdown measures, and they definitely despise the so-called Great Reset. Take a listen.
You see, the next World Economic Forum isn't just some lovey jet-setters climate gabfest. It's an anti-democratic enterprise designed to destroy your job, steal your prosperity, and rob your kids of a future. It's a hardcore, leftist, eco-horror show replete with quasi-fascism. I spoke a couple of weeks ago here about the disturbing trend among many of the world's left-wing elites to increasingly conflate COVID-19 with climate change, with many going so far as to suggest that all the measures applied to the coronavirus, the lockdowns, the destruction of businesses, the suppression of dissent, curfews, strong-arm police tactics, should become the new normal for dealing with climate change. And indeed, that is precisely what the next World Economic Forum is planning to do, to convince governments, with the help of big business and big tech, to bring about something deeply, deeply sinister called the Great Reset. The what? Precisely, it sounds kind of crazy enough, but it is a program designed to strip us of all our fundamental democratic rights in favour of a new form of society as dictated by the elites.
Now is the historical moment. Now is a time not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
Now here in Klaus Schwab's previous book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution. Oh, because he's a hardcore transhumanist. Wait till you hear what he says. But here in this previous book, world-renowned economist Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, explains that we have an opportunity to shape the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which will fundamentally alter how we live and work. He says artificial intelligence is already around us, from supercomputers to drones to virtual assistants to 3D printing, DNA sequencing, smart thermostats, wearable sensors and microchips smaller than a grain of sand. But this is just the beginning. Nanomaterials 200 times stronger than steel and 1,000,000 times thinner than a strand of hair, and the first transplant of a 3D printed liver are already in development. Imagine smart factories in which global systems of manufacturing are coordinated virtually, or implantable mobile phones made of biosynthetic materials. This is what Jake is up against, man. This is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, who is pushing DNA sequencing, microchips, nanomaterials that are stronger than steel and thinner than strands of hair. So this is what we're up against. So not only do we have this Terminator psychopath, right? Not only are we up against this modern day Megatron in the financial sector, we got Christine Lagarde doing seminars at the European Central Bank, calling for a digital currency and saying those famous words, "We cannot let a good crisis go to waste."
We need to promote and embed a financial architecture that is fit for the challenges of tomorrow and that helps accelerate the transition towards a more digital and more green euro area economy. It is a challenge. It would be easy to revert back to our turf, behind our borders, and to assume that life will continue as it was. We cannot let a good crisis go to waste. We have to use it to be stronger the day after.
Prince Charles insists all the levers at our disposal must be used to enforce the Great Reset. How on earth that one sentence alone does not disqualify Charles from ever succeeding to the throne is beyond me. He is now not only fully immersed in hardcore left-wing eco-politics, he is advocating some bizarre form of eco-fascism. The Queen must step in and insist he have nothing further to do with this freak show. After all, we are currently seeing in Victoria just what it looks like when all the levers at our disposal are being used to enforce the COVID-19 restrictions, which include curfews, lockdowns, enforced mask wearing, shutting down of businesses, making you stay within 5 kilometres of your own home, not visiting the dying rellos, and on and on. Remember, it's not me linking COVID to climate change. It is these lunatics, including Charles and the United Nations and the IMF, who want to replicate the global response to COVID and repurpose it for climate change, to enforce zero net emissions. Just to remind you, this bloke Schwab is the kingpin of the World Economic Forum, the chief body that wants a globalised world with a partnership between governments and big business, globalisation that basically runs the show.
Now watch this next clip. This next clip I'm about to play from BBC, it encapsulates the deepest desire of Esau Edom and his perpetual crusade for immortality that dates back all the way to the serpent in the garden before he became the great red dragon we know as today.
Sorry.
I said I'm not comfortable with my body, so I want to get rid of it. This thing, all the arms and legs and every single bit of it, I don't want to be flesh. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to escape this thing and become digital.
What do you mean?
They say one day, soon, they'll have clinics in Switzerland where you can go and you'll sign a form and they'll take your brain and download it into the cloud.
And your body?
Recycled. Into the earth.
So you want to kill yourself?
I want to live forever.
Ezekiel 28:2 says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. Esau, the so-called white man, without a doubt, you should see that these scriptures are referring to him and his puffed up heart full of pride, because all evidence points directly to him as the one who sets himself up as God on earth, and still believes to this day that this merging of machine is his last great advent before he can achieve ascension. Once again, all the attributes point to him being referred to as Lucifer in Isaiah 14:12, which reads, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Once again, all the attributes of Esau Edom. Why do I say that this Lucifer is a man? The same man who is not a god, but a man who sits in the seat of God like the Prince Tyrus? Because of verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Esau is Lucifer, mentioned here in Isaiah, who is a mere man but wants to be God. How can I prove this? I'll let you hear it in their own words again.
We are going to become gods. Gods. We are going to become gods. And if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. Then we'll have warfare.
Schwab has written extensively about humanity being altered by machines, nanotechnology. He's a big fan of drones, artificial intelligence. Weirdly enough, Daniel Andrews recently ditched attempts to detain people on the suspicion that they might be about to disobey COVID regulations, has eerie echoes in Schwab's boasting how technologies can intrude into the hitherto private space of our minds. Reading our thoughts and influencing our behavior. And Schwab predicts, as capabilities in this area improve, the temptation for law enforcement agencies and courts to use techniques to determine the likelihood of criminal activity, assess guilt, or even possibly retrieve memories directly from people's brains will increase.
This is Colossians 1:26. Even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. And let me translate what the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum just said. They want to use the same technology from this movie called Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise, where they use technology combined with stolen psychic abilities to predict when the next crime will take place, so they can swoop in and arrest you before you do anything. And it don't stop there, because currently, as I'm recording this, these technomancer cyberfucks in real life claim they have smart sewers, up and running smart sewers, that are using these other little guys, probably the nanobots, you know, the ones that are thin as a strand of hair and 200 times stronger than steel. They're using these to go deep diving in your poop.
We're building a global human health database, the first of its kind, by analyzing sewage. This is based on a simple system called wastewater epidemiology. Everybody pees every day, and we know that urine contains a rich source of information on our health and well-being. Our doctors look at it all the time, and every day we're flushing this data down the toilet, where it's aggregating in public sewers. At BioBot, we're building technology to extract and analyze this information.
Reading our thoughts and influencing our behavior. And Schwab predicts, as capabilities in this area improve, the temptation for law enforcement agencies and courts to use techniques to determine the likelihood of criminal activity, assess guilt, or even possibly retrieve memories directly from people's brains, will increase. All of this, Schwab says, is redefining what it means to be human.
Remember the episode of Black Mirror? Well, now if you resist the smart sewer slash pharmacovigilant brigade, they're gonna send a real life robot dog after your ass. Klaus Schwab literally said all this in the manner of 3 or 4 cents.
Our government wastes your money sending senior politicians and highly paid public servants to dance to this madman's tune. It's a disgrace. Oh, and did I mention he's a huge fan of China as the leader of his brave new world?
It was very appropriate to invite the president to join us, and he, as the leader of the country, to talk to us about the future's engagement of China in global affairs and the leadership role China will assume in determining and constructing our global future.
Why China? Well, apart from the drones and the surveillance, chat to the Uyghurs about that, they also pretend to care about climate change.
And China has already taken the lead. Just look in the negotiations in Paris on the environment.
COVID, China, climate change. The Great Reset is a toxic, poisonous, ugly offspring of fascism dressed up in the frilly frocks of environmentalism. It's a horror show.
We not only have to demand change, but also create change.
We have to live up to the expectations which we have created, and we will do so.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. We will finally complete proper tracking system. Number 8, we will finally complete. We will finally complete the biometric entry exit visa tracking system. The biometric entry exit visa tracking system.
That's a replica of the Temple of Herod, the one that Christ worshipped. But today's temple is defiled by the worst sacrilege that could possibly befall Israel.
Really? What happened?